everybody. Might give me a 5 for 5, and we will roll right on through. Right on through. Hope everybody's doing good. Hello to the chat in there. Idaho Keith. What's up, Keith? Gunslinger. Miss B. Darren. Brian. What's up? 7. Stephanie. Gary. Who was first? Probably Hilly, usually. Yep. What up, Hilly? You the man. What's up, Eve? Daniel, what's happening? Deb. Mark Matheny. All right, guys. Are we 5 for 5? Okay. Sweet. All right. So, yeah, we've had a big blast after yesterday. Thing was pretty significant, I will say. It wasn't like it's not me. Okay, let me just show it to you. How about that? Let's just start there. Let's just, instead of getting all squirrely like I usually do, we're gonna go ahead and just start right there. Oh, before I do that though, always please share it out, guys. It does help. It really does. And thanks to everybody coming back, leaving comments. That does help too. It pushes it out. So yeah, like, share, all that YouTube stuff. Super chat stuff is there. Any of that stuff's there also. So we're going to go. Let's go. All right. So what you're looking at, this is Soho. And I guess I should probably show you where the satellite's at. Right here. This is Earth. This is the satellite. Okay. It's 1,000,000 miles closer to the sun than what we are. And yeah. So let's take a look at, whenever you come over here to seeds, guys, you can scroll down and it says LASCO C2. That is that imaging I just showed you guys. Okay. Anything highlighted, that means it's detected as CME. Or what it thinks is a CME. Sometimes it's not a CME. Sometimes it's just it screws up sometimes. I'll put it that way. But all you gotta do is click on that, and it isolates a few of the frames, and it'll just show you what it thinks is going on here. It usually does a pretty good job of it too, actually. So, but that time that happened. This particular blast is going way far south of Earth. Okay, and so is the one that caused the radiation storm is actually going off the backside and south. So, but it is a very significant eruption. Okay, that's what you're looking at, and yeah, so that's a big one. Now that doesn't show you the whole thing, and we'll look at the whole thing here in just a second. Okay, as you can see, there's one blast there, then it fires a second one south, right? And it's from the same area of the sun. Now I have to stress here that this is fairly dense. If this had been coming right at us, yeah, again, we would be having another conversation, because this most definitely would have caused geomagnetic storming. How strong, I can't really say. I quit trying to guess on that kind of stuff, because I guess in the long run, it really doesn't matter what I guess. It only matters what's going to happen, right? So I can give you an opinion, and just from watching the tools for so many years, I'm pretty decent at understanding whether or not it's going to cause geomagnetic storms or not. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to cause this level, that kind of thing. For the main reason is it just doesn't do any good. It's not adding anything to what we're talking about. But what I can say is, when I look at this SOHO tool right here from that satellite right there, that when you see on the red view over here, it really shine like that. That is very dense eruption. That's a lot of particles. Okay, just in a small area. And you're looking at heat, basically. There's a temperature difference here, and that's how they kind of do these coronagraphs. But as you see, that blasts out that direction. It's a big one. Okay, that's a big blast. So let me show you what it looks like on the CME tracker, NASA CME tracker. Okay, yeah, so you guys can see that. That's a big one, right? We know that because of how large it spreads. It almost spreads out to 180 degrees once it's about to leave the frame here. And we're looking at the inner solar system. That's top down, that's side cut, and that's our orbital line in a straight line. Okay? So there you have that. Now, again, you can tell that this CME part is not going to hit Earth. So why am I saying we're under a radiation storm? Because we are. And the reason why is our magnetic connection line. We're coupled to the sun with the interplanetary magnetic field line. Okay? And that's that dashed line right there. You see how it curves in? And I've explained this before. Matter of fact, I explained it not too long ago. So anytime, anybody's been watching space weather for any length of time probably already knows this. Because I've said it. Multiple other channels have probably said it. I learned it from other channels, honestly. Anything fired off on that side of the sun has a chance of sending protons our way because it can cross our magnetic field line, our connection to the sun. And if it does, and then there's enough of those protons, if it's dense enough, and it couples and and those protons grab onto that field line, they travel here on that line. They'll actually go backwards. That's just it's what it does. Okay, it grabs and it gets here through our connection to the sun because of magnetics. All right, I mean that's what it is. You got negative and positive, opposite polarities attract each other, causes movement. It grabs it and it becomes one circuit. Basically, is what I'm going to say. We're coupled to the sun, and then in that particular interplanetary magnetic field line, yeah. So when protons grab that, they go backwards. We get a radiation storm from that, if it's enough of them. Okay, and this time, this happened to be because of the size of the eruption. Now I seen this early on. And what we're looking at here is the proton flux, okay? So the radiation storm means you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and an S1 is the lowest form of a radiation storm. Now, I didn't jump out here right away because this is not anything to worry about. It's just something to show you guys that this can happen. And if the blast is big enough, if we get multiple blasts on that side of the sun, it can and will increase the protons, and they can get up into the higher radiation storms. Okay, so that's why we talk about these, so you guys understand it when the big stuff eventually will happen, right? I've reported on, I think, an S3 storm before. It wasn't too long ago, I don't think either, but this happened right here, and it kind of plateaued off. I'm not sure if you guys can kind of see that. But that's kind of typical. We see that a lot. And then it started rising again, right? Well, the reason why is if you watch this CME, you can kind of see it's almost like you get one initial blast and then you'll get another. Sorry. And you'll see it kind of like, I don't know, blast inside of a blast is kind of what it looks like. Remember, this is an occulter disk. That disk is always there. It's a physical disk on the sun. So you got the first blast, and you got the second blast right behind it, and you even got a third one going south. So, and it's not going directly south either. It's probably kind of going catty corner this way, right? So, and when you start see this little snow-looking stuff over here, those are the protons, those highly charged protons hitting the detector, hitting the satellite. Now, on the bigger radiation storms, you'll get a complete whiteout. It will look like an old TV set from the 70s that went off air. Okay, it really does. I've shown it before, but you know, again, and we talk about a halo signature, right? We don't know if it's coming at us or going directly the other way. Well, this one's going directly the other way, and we know that because I just showed it to you on on the CME tracker. Okay, over on the NASA Enlil CME tracker, and so we always pay attention to that. Now, if I hadn't looked at that, I could have come out here and said, "Hey, look, we got this partial CME from this big blast. It's coming at Earth. It's coming at Earth, right?" Hold on a minute. Hold on. I thought I seen something there that. Okay, it's not. All right. You see this little line? I was looking at this line right here. I thought maybe that was a sun diver because we see that a lot, but it's actually this line that's already showed up there, just kind of waving back and forth. Okay. I thought there was a sun diver there also, but there wasn't. Okay. Anyway, so S1 radiation storm, right? I mean, yeah, that's what's going on here. So now let's take a look at it over here on. First off, let me pause that. Let's go to SEO and we'll take a look at it here. We'll push play here. And this is the 171 angstrom. This is the satellite in geosynchronistic orbit. Stays over the same part of our planet at all times and rotates with us around our axis. Okay? At the same speed we do at 15 degrees an hour. But it's always keeping its eye on the sun. The blast happened over here. So watch what happens over here. You can see all this stuff just kind of doing its thing, right? You can tell it's disturbed. It's not humongously disturbed though, right? I mean, you can't really tell a whole lot here on the 171. And frankly, we're not going to be able to see like any kind of massive, like, I don't know, ejecta on any of these extreme ultraviolet images. We can just tell it's gotten disrupted. Yes, that is very intense when you see these on the 171. There's that one I showed you guys yesterday up there. So let me, we're going to take a look at a different angstrom. Let's just go to the 211. Let's try that one first. Come on. You're going to load or you're going to be a butthead? It's loading. Just having a second there. Look at we'll take a look at this first. I tell you what though, while that's loading over there, let's go over here and look at the space weather scales. These will tell you what can be expected during any kind of level of storming. Geomagnetic storming, you get radiation storms, which is what we're talking about today. And then you got radio blackouts, which come from flares. Okay? This is NOAA. You guys can scroll down to the bottom of any of these, the NOAA pages, and you can get to everything. Pretty much all the models I show you are down here. I show a few other ones. Or you can get to any of the dashboards. This is the one I show you guys all the time. This link right here is this. Okay? This thing loading yet? Huh, that's weird. Okay, well, let's try it again, guys. Am I still 5 for 5? Hey, Mary. Am I still 5 for 5, guys? Somebody give me that in there real quick. Sometimes when that times out like that, I could have lost internet connection or something, didn't know it. Are we 5 for 5? Okay. Thank you. 9 by 9. All right. That's more like the size of my booty tube, Hilly. 5 for 5. Don't. That's not wide enough for me. Okay. So let's see if this. Okay, it's gonna load now. All right. We'll let it load, but we'll go back over here real quick. Okay. So anyway, we're talking about solar radiation storms here. And so we're looking at an S1. I want you guys first thing to notice what's it say down here? Biological, which means the effect on anything biological. Us, animals, anything biological, right? None. There's not going to be any effects on us from this radiation storm. Okay? That's barring we don't get another blast and it just keeps rising in intensity. If it stays at the intensity it is right now, we will not feel or notice any effects from this. Our atmosphere will handle it just fine and it will not even reach us. Okay? But the satellite operations, there's none there either. Okay? Now, you might see minor impacts on high-frequency radio in the polar regions. Why does it say polar regions, right? I say that a lot, right? I mean, everything I talk about pretty much, hey, it's got to come in on the poles mainly, right? I say that so much. Let me show you why. This right here is the X-ray background, right? This is the D region. I'm not going to get into what that all means. But you can see all the energy hanging around our poles. Now, when we look at a flare over here, we're looking at this bullseye that happens, right? Notice you don't see a bullseye here. What do you see? And that bullseye would be the day side of the planet. So you see the pole regions, and that's where all the extra protons are hanging out right now. Okay, they are in our atmosphere. Okay, they made it here. That's why we detected it, right? So it's here, but it's not getting to us. It would have to be way more intense than this to get to us and to give us any kind of issues. And I mean quite a bit more intense. This is probably the lowest level of radiation storming you can get. And that's why I wasn't like saying, oh my God, radiation storm in the thumbnail or any of that. It was a huge blast that caused a small radiation storm. It's exactly what it was. You know, but at the end of the day, it's still a radiation storm and we need to talk about it. And that's why I'm doing it. You can also come over here, guys. You can get the same data in so many different places, right? The data is all coming from the same spot, but different websites show it in different types of graphing and different models and all that. This is all the same. To see this estimated KP, this is going to match this. Okay? So, I mean, it's the same data. Now, I can take you to the German website and show you that one. That's instead of getting 3-hour plot points, we get a 30-minute plot point over there. 30-minute or 60-minute or what have you, right? Oh, really? You guys hear me? Hello? Okay. Are we still 5 for 5, guys? Somebody said no audio. Okay, cool. All right. I just making sure I seen somebody said and then see the audio in there. I just happened to look down and there it was. Okay. Hold on a minute here. Hold on a minute, guys. Hey, I'm not sure what happened with Rebecca there, guys. I'm not sure why her messages are being deleted, but I don't see her saying anything wrong there. It's probably a mistake. Somebody hitting the button wrong, Rebecca. It happens all the time, especially when you're on the phone. You probably already know that, but Okay, yeah, butterfly saying sorry. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have something going on there I didn't know about. So yeah, thank you. No big deal, butterfly. Hey, it happens to all of us. Hey, miss, what's going on? So, okay. Back to the space weather. Sorry about that, guys. That was not an intentional squirrel type of thing. I just wanted to make sure you guys could hear me. But so if we get to the S2, guys, passengers and that fly high latitudes, which means closer to the poles. Again, poles coming in here, right? They got a chance of getting a higher dose of radiation, which would be like an X-ray. Seriously. So they don't like people flying. Pregnant women and cabin crew and pilots are not allowed to fly over a certain amount of hours in those conditions. So they will actually ground them. They'll tell them, hey, you got to take a different flight path, get on a different, whatever you need to do. You can't fly this flight path. They monitor that for those people. Pregnant women, obviously for the obvious reasons, right? So things start to get worse as it goes up, right? And I'm not going to get into... Now, we'll look at the worst case scenario. How about that? Unavoidable high radiation hazard to astronauts, extravehicular activity, which means they're outside of the space shuttle or whatever spacecraft they're in, rolling around up there, doing what they do, right? Again, at high latitudes may be exposed to radiation risk. Satellites might be rendered useless. Memory impacts can cause loss of control on everything else on these satellites. Complete blackout of high frequency communications. Okay, now these radiation storms, a lot of those things that I'm just talking about are actually they're directly related with these radio blackouts. Why? Because very similar things happen when we get hit with a flare. Okay, that's why. So they kind of mirror each other a little bit. Now, geomagnetic storming is different, okay? These are the ones coming from CMEs and coronal hole streams, all right? So I just wanted to point that out. So let's do this. Go back over here to SDO. Okay, it's loaded. It's the 211, okay? Notice how you're seeing a lot of disruption over here. Now, this is going to show you quite a bit of it. You're going to see, well, first off, you're going to see the one yesterday, right here. Boom. And then you're going to see this really start to move around over here. But you can clearly see that that's on the backside of the sun. If it was over here, that probably would have rippled through over here, kind of out this direction. And we definitely would have taken some geomagnetic activity from that if that had erupted in this position. Okay? It was wide enough, it probably would have given us some sort of a geomagnetic storm. If it would have erupted right here, we're talking probably higher levels. That's a big blast, guys. That is nothing to sneeze about. That's a big blast. It just is what it is. So let me go faster here with you. There we go. And again, guys, there's other things happening here on the sun too. We're just going to have to keep an eye on this stuff. Now, I will say that the sunspots have really dwindled in number the past couple days. Let me show you that. Can't really hardly see a whole lot here, can you? Well, there's a couple little ones here. Okay? There's nothing like extreme, but let me stress this. Okay? There was no sunspot here. And what happened? Boom. Blasted out. Right here. This is yesterday. Boom. Good. 1, 2. So you get this blasted out, right? And so yeah, that happened. No sunspot. No sunspot. Sorry about that, guys. I had to say night to my daughter. Tell her I love her and all that, right? I ain't gonna miss that. Ain't no space weather gonna stop me from doing that. That is 100% for sure. Anyway, so remember, no sunspot was needed for this. It just blasted out. That was a filament, right? And that's a good way to show you guys, because it doesn't matter. It matters, but it doesn't matter as much as people might think it does, that we don't see a whole lot of sunspots here. Now, there is more activity around sunspots. That's a fact, right? But the sun doesn't need that. The sun can blow up anytime it wants to. It doesn't need any of that. We got these big draping magnetic filaments going across it all the time. And sometimes we don't even have to have those. Sometimes it can just flare out of nowhere. It happens. So that's why, but the chances are greatly increased when we have sunspots facing us. That's why during solar maximum, which is basically just the count of sunspots facing Earth, right? How many days we have sunspots facing Earth. That's how they do the sun cycle. That's how you know where you're at in, well, partly how you know where you're at in the sun cycle. So when we see solar maximum, that means we have more sunspots, which in turn we get more activity because there's more activity around sunspots. But right now, this is looking like a solar minimum sun, really, with hardly any sunspots. There's really just not a whole lot there. But the sun is still a lot bright. I guess when you're looking at this, I'm not going to say brighter. That's not the right way to say it. You can see there's more areas that we would call like coronal prominences. That's just an active area on the sun, okay? More active than just nominal conditions, okay? So with that being said, there's not, we don't have a whole lot facing us right now, but what we do have are these filaments, okay? And there's a lot on the back. Plus we have, see this area over here? Look at this. When you see things stretching out way out here on the 195 here angstrom, or any angstrom really, except for the 171. The 171, the whole background's yellow usually. But if you see it, these connection lines stretching out that far, you know there's a sunspot back there, okay? And it is rotating in. So the next few days, we're going to have to watch that. Now, we'll take a look at Dr. Tony Phillips' side here real quick, okay? Yes, we get more aurora he's talking about here. Now, what I just said was we don't have a whole lot of worried about sunspots, right? It doesn't mean that we don't have sunspots, though. Look, they're just really small and, I guess for all intents and purposes, just weak at this point, okay? But there are still a lot of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one's getting ready to go on the other side, so that one won't be there very much longer. Now, I will also say this too. Like this one here, it could grow overnight and be like really, really big tomorrow morning when we wake up. Who knows? That happens. We can have sunspots that weren't there at all. All of a sudden, just bam, there they are, and they're huge. Right? Happens all the time. Let's see. Okay, protons are raining down on. Yep. So, yeah. So he's basically talking about the same thing here. Okay? The Russell-McPherson effect, that is the effect that we see with Aurora, guys. He was the one. Actually, I think there was two guys there. Pretty sure. I'm not sure if that's one person like Russell and McPherson, or if it's two different people, Russell and McPherson. I have to go look at that. But that effect itself, we see more aurora around the equinoxes because cracks open up more so around that in our magnetic field. So when we get even weaker blasts from the sun, we'll get more aurora because of it. So please go give them some love over here. I'm not going to stay on this site very long because I want you guys to go look at it. Give them, who did this one? It says Matt Melnick. Yep, took that photograph. I think he was a pilot. Is that what it says? So yeah, Good job, Matt. That's an awesome, awesome Aurora photography. I always want to give credit, guys, because these guys, I mean, they work hard at that. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you. If anything else comes up, I will be here for you. If you guys got any questions, fire them in there. Hey, Tommy, what's up, bud? All right, guys. Are you in here, Tommy? I haven't looked at the chat, guys. I've been trying not to. Thanks for checking on me, guys. Oh, by the way, hey, Ron, what's going on, bud? Hey, what's up, brother? Yeah, Tommy's in here. I see you. Okay. Hey, it actually reminded me, now that you're here, guys, we had a big storm here last night. You guys heard me talking about it in my last live stream yesterday before it happened. None of that stuff was going on until after I got off stream. And we had a tornado hit, and it was bad. I was fortunate enough. I had a lot of prayers going up and everything for me and my family in my area here. Yeah, I got some video, not of the tornado itself, but I've got more so audio of it because you can hear it rumbling. I could feel it on the ground, vibrating like one of those old football games. When you know, those of us that are old and ancient, you used to put these little football players on these little metal boards, and the board would vibrate. So the little figures would move up and down the field. That's kind of what the ground felt like. It was really moving like that. It wasn't like earthquake type of stuff or anything like that, but it was like a vibration. And it was pretty intense. So, yeah, I just don't, yeah. So thank you guys for, for the prayers and things. It really does help, in my opinion. So that's what I'll say to that. And it was pretty scary. What I will say is this. A lot of people lost their houses. And it did hit a lot of different things. It hit a nursing home. It wiped out a Taco Bell. It took out a strip mall. It took out, they found Walmart grocery carts hundreds of yards away in that strip mall's parking lot. Now, if you think about that for a second, that's a pretty good feat for wind to be able to pick something up that has holes all over it. Okay? It's not like it picked up a metal box or something where the wind got underneath it and it was, kind of flung it. No, these were grocery carts. So you got to understand this was not weak tornado stuff. There is, if you guys go look at Winchester, Indiana, that's not exactly where I live, but it's a little north of me. And if you guys go there, you guys will see. There's go on YouTube, you'll see the tornado itself. You'll see all that damage. They actually, I was listening to the scanner, and they had one of the commanders from Right Pat actually called in on the scanner and was offering his help to help run the command center and stuff up there. It was a big deal, and then not just there either. I mean, this was a big deal across my state in Indiana. And there was another tornado that happened prior to that did just as much damage, if not more. There was a tornado that jumped the Ohio River yesterday. Okay? So we're talking big time stuff. And it is springtime, guys. Well, is it springtime yet? Not technically, it's not. But it will be here shortly. But for all intents and purposes, it is. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that kind of stuff too. I'm a weather geek also. I've been a weather geek since I was a kid. I used to be completely, utterly petrified of thunderstorms. Okay? I mean, like, to the point where I couldn't almost function during them. And, I kind of picked that up. My mom was that way. So I was kind of bled down into me, and yeah, and get this, when I first got married, we lived in a mobile home for 2 years. Imagine the fear I had then. Yeah. That was not a fun time for me, but I was able to kick that fear. I love them now. I was outside getting video yesterday during all that, but anyway, that was stupid probably, but I did. But also my grandma was like that too. She actually almost got struck by lightning. There was a big ball of lightning. Yes, lightning does come in forms of balls. Go look at it. You can go look it up. It actually came into the house and like grounded right before it hit her. And whenever a thunderstorm would happen, my grandma would actually, stick her head in a pillow and hide. It was bad. So, but I am getting off here. Hey, Puka. Puka says hi. Puka dog. Yeah, I was telling Tommy, I was like, listen, instead of Dorothy and Toto, it was getting ready to be Mark and Puka. Yesterday. We was getting ready to have us a big one. So, I know. My Puka. My baby girl Puka. It's my second daughter. My youngest. It's my Jack Russell, guys. She's about a little over a year old. So, all right, guys. Thanks for everybody that stopped in. I know I kind of just flung this one on you. But I'm trying to, do a live stream at least once a day. Take 1, maybe 2 days off. Typically just 1. But it's something big like this, because this is actually pretty big stuff. Okay? So, with that being said, I am going to go ahead and say goodbye to you guys for the night. Get over and check out the lifeboat, guys. Get over and check out Marfugal. Everybody else that I talk about all the time. And, yeah, guys, I waited till the end of the stream to start doing that now. Did you guys notice that? Uh-huh. Yeah, and I'm scared of everything. Whoever's in there saying X-Flare 6000. I love that stuff, man. I get a freaking laugh out of that. I love it. It cracks me up. Thank you, mods, for handling all that. That's yeah. You guys are doing the right thing. Because you can bet your butt that's just one person, maybe 2. There's a bunch of different accounts. So, you're welcome, guys. So, yeah, get over and check out all the channels that I always talk about, guys. Ripper, Trinity, Ilea, everybody else. So, anybody I forgot, I'm sorry. I can't mention everybody every time. I really wish I could. I'm still, if you guys go to my featured channel list, I think it says awesome channels on my page. My YouTube page. Most everybody I shout out is in there. I'm working on getting everybody there that I want there. Okay? Not everybody's going to be there because if I don't have a personal connection to you or I don't think your channel is like whatever. If I know you and I think you're a good person, you're going to be in that. Okay? Eventually. I just haven't gotten it all done and gotten it all there yet. It's a lot of work. It really is, guys. A lot more work to it than what people think. So, anyway, guys, God bless. Yahusha saves, and, yeah, you can drink this Kool-Aid.